Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the Purple Portal with Elaine Bartlett. I am always so delighted to be back with you again. It's the weirdest thing, but even through the ethers of the airwaves, some which way, even though I don't know your names in some cases, I don't really know if you're actually listening, I feel connected and interwoven with you as if you were right here. So today, oh my heavenly days, I have so much to share with you, simply because a lot has been brought up to my attention again. So some of you will want to call in, some of you will want to email me further on it. So the call-in number, just in case, 321-806-3159. Once again, 321-806-3159. And if you're going to need to email me about, Elaine, what the heck are you saying? What are you talking about? It's purple, color purple, portal 777 at gmail.com. So once again, purple portal 777 at gmail.com. And I already see we have a caller on the line. Hi there.
Hi, Elaine. It's Sydney.
Hello, Miss Sydney.
From New Jersey.
Did you go to Paris?
I did.
Okay, well, welcome home.
Thank you.
Was it a wonderful trip, honey?
It was quite a whirlwind. It was okay. There was nothing earth-shattering, and I have no wild stories to tell, and I'm a storyteller.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah, but answered some questions. So that was good.
Okay.
But I'm looking still for something to sink my teeth into. So I'm wondering about my gene keys. I don't use that as a tool. I haven't recently.
Okay.
I think that's what one of the things
absolutely. It's the hot topic today.
Yeah.
Sydney, there's a couple of things that I don't know when I shared the gene keys up in Jersey, whether I actually gave too much energy to something called human design. Does that register at all with you?
That's on the fringes. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's some time ago, and I really haven't looked in at my whatever it's called.
Okay. So
reading or astrology.
All right. For you listeners, what Sydney is alluding to is what the whole show is going to be about today. And I'm going to be giving you some very, very important websites or information portals. And Sydney, you're sort of my trigger point here. So I'm going to go back and forth between directing it to you, but really directing it to everyone because it's the show. Great. So yeah. The Gene Keys is a body of work. It's a body, if you will, of light language. And I don't mean lightweight. I mean as in illumination, the language of light. And this information came through a gentleman over in England, Richard Rudd, R-U-D-D. And the name of his book is Gene, G-E-N-E, like your genes in your body, Keys, K-E-Y-S. And the subtitle is Unlocking the Higher Purpose Hidden in Your DNA. So Sydney's question is, gee, I see you're going to be talking about the gene keys. I still don't quite know the purpose, the direction. Well, it is incorporated in the gene keys, although it's not going to say, Sydney, go become a prima ballerina. It's not going to say that. It's going to give aspects of your ego and of your non-ego, which are standing in the way of you remembering who you are. I think I've boiled it down to each one of us having to really fully practice and contemplate the essence of ourself. You were probably traveling last week, Sydney, but it's interesting. I said twice on the air I repeated something that a master's teacher's teacher had repeated to the student, and then to me, because I got it. And incorporated in it was the fact that I am the eternal one. And afterward, I thought, oh my goodness, if people took that out of context, that's going to be a mess, a mess as far as slandering me. Who the heck does she think she is? But also, it's hard to embody it. And the gene keys are a fantastic tool to help us remember I am that. I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am the path. There's nothing to get. But every religion and philosophy absolutely waters that down, if not 100% distorts it. So in my journey, before I was called to study the gene keys, because the gene keys call you. There's just no doubt about it. You and still sometimes they call the person and they can't get it because it takes a lot of contemplation and stillness. But the gene keys stand upon astrology and the I Ching. Oh, and the I Ching is the most ancient oracle known to mankind. And the gene keys actually stand upon a discipline known as human design. Now, human design is a fascinating. Oh my gosh, it is so fascinating. If the gene keys had not come along and distracted me from my actual study with human design, I'd probably have really pursued it with gusto, but I got distracted and I was running a big business. Life happened. And then I had to move 7 times in a row. Other than that, there's no reason why I wasn't disciplined enough. But here is a website that I'm going to suggest, Sydney, you go to, and everybody else. HumanDesignAmerica.com. Now, what it does, it gives you your profile, what they call your profile, but then so does the gene keys. So you see, the gene keys actually stands upon this. And you learn the dangdest stuff in this thing. I did buy the manual, which is called Living Your Design, a new manual for awakening. This manual was actually revised and edited by none other than Richard Rudd. You see, so he went on to do that. So, and it actually tells your design. What have you come to do? What's your personality about? Now, it's interesting. In my human design, I am something called a projector / a reflector. It's an odd combination. It's not the most popular combination, which would account for the fact that most of my life I have felt I'm standing on the outside looking in, as if I don't belong. And it's a combination that would sort of validate that. And in my case, it says, I have to wait for the invitation. So I can't be the one that kind of extends, almost every other energy field is very good at take the bull by the horns and let's go do it. My spirit's not interested in that. I'm more of the witness, the observer, the reflector, the contemplator, which is why all of these are very easy for me. I'm designed that way. So the whole purpose of this human design is to show you your uniqueness. And the first step to knowing yourself is seeing your definition. And the first step in being yourself is relying on that definition. So you see, every time I take the initiative, not such a great thing. Although, thank God, there's other ways that I'm wired that help me with that. But it's nice to know I actually have to wait for the invitation. It takes so much pressure off. And,
I'm a take the bull by the horns girl.
Yes, I bet you are. And I'll bet you it's described in your human design pattern. And,
it's not working for me, though.
Well,
that's not working.
But maybe your human design is, guess what? Wait for the invitation.
Right.
You
That's
could think you're,
right?
Yeah. So the next step in the human design pattern takes you to see what is open in you. Now, what that means is, you listeners, it shows you, and I would suggest you print it out because it's absolutely quite beautiful. You have a printout of, it almost looks like it changes your body into some sort of robotic format. And you see different pockets on this, your spleen, your sacral, your ajna, different energy fields. And if they're colored in, then they're open for you. So, and this is in order for you to recognize what your strong suits are, but where you have been conditioned or misconditioned. So it goes on to explain that becoming yourself requires that you stop identifying with certain centers. And it takes, so you're ready for this, it takes 7 years to clean out the conditioning. So these are challenges, and it's interesting. When I came into the studio today, my precious Jeff, who is the commander here of the studio, we were speaking of how many people had come in across his life in the past few days, all speaking about change. And then I walked in, I'm speaking about it. I had a great deal of difficulty getting my article out for next month's magazine for Jeff. And, of course, the bottom line is it's all about change.
Yeah.
So we're in this pattern. And, Sydney, I suggested to Jeff that those who are going to resist the change, they'll have to leave. So it's critical for us really to get down and dirty with, okay, so for you, I'm going to say, go back, go to this human design, at least poke around with a little bit. And for some of you, okay, you'll get just so far. This is why I'm a valuable resource in people's life. You do some work, you try to figure it out, and when you get, over your head, that's when you say, Elaine, let's make an appointment. Let's take some time. Walk me through it. Because now I'm dangerous enough to be able to interlink human design with your gene keys. Right. And within the past 4 days, now both of these things have been off my radar as I have been very diligently working with Living Reality for the past 18 months. Because I want to cut right to the chase. I really want to get the full clarity of the fact that there's no me. There is no Elaine. The me is false. So I have been working it and practicing it and going into no thingness, which of course all of these two disciplines are going to lead you there. Sydney, in your case, you have to lose your mind. Your mind is a beautiful tool, but it spins you in circles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly right. I journaled that this morning. I'm going in circles. I am going in circles. I am not going. I am come across journaling from a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you about the same thing.
I could tell you that. I've known you for many, many years. Duh.
Yes. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of it.
Well,
and I'm jumping out of my skin.
Okay, good. Then jump.
Yeah,
then jump.
Yeah.
You see, but your pattern of jumping, well, let me swing back to this state. No, let me go to that state. That's not the jumping that's been helping you.
No.
That's depleting. As a matter of fact, it's of course no accident that you're the caller today, the first caller, because on the way up, I was thinking, geez, Sydney has shown me that I cannot be so restless.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was thinking of you as I was driving through beloved, beautiful Merritt Island, thinking, okay, I've got to calm this restless streak. It's not serving her. Therefore, it's not serving me.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, I hate to tell you this, kids. I use each of you. I use you as my reflector, as you should use me.
Yeah.
So it's a choice. Thanks, Jeff. It's a choice. Jeff is posted up on my monitor here. He's telling me to tell you, Sydney, it's a choice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I don't understand which choices to make to keep going forward instead of going around in circles. You know, one of the things that's, New Jersey is notorious for traffic circles. Well, they don't hold a candle to France. Paris with traffic circles.
Okay.
And I was like going around going, oh my God. Now, in some sense, you can keep going, but you can also get caught and not really go in a direction. You keep going. You're like, oh, I'm going in a new direction, but then I'm in another circle, but then I could come back and I go around again. You know, and that's what's happening. I'm going around again and I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Because you're losing your center. So it's important that you and I know you try to meditate. I know you do all the things. But I love you, Jeff. Jeff is another message for you. He's saying, Sydney, you are what you think. Well, you know that. We've been together a long time. You know that. Your thinking is overthink, is what's happening. So you run in circles. And I get that. And it's like, okay, where are you going to... In your case, I would tell you, not only should you print out your human design, you got to get back to your gene key. If memory serves me, and this could be way out on a limb, why is the 55th gene key coming up? Is that your main gene key?
I think you got an amazing, it's something like that. It's one of the unusual ones.
Yes, it is. Yep. Okay,
Yep.
I want to tell you, I believe it's 55. And I would be going to the I Ching, any book you have on the I Ching. I would be looking at it. As a matter of fact, naturally, I brought the gene key with me today. Yeah, the 55th one is, oh, my heavenly days. Why do I have this big next to it? Okay. No wonder I put this. Every time one complains, outwardly or internally, one effectively disempowers oneself.
Yeah.
When one gets caught in the frequency of complaining, one is caught in the net of the drama of life, the Maya. The energy of the complaint itself serves to strengthen the illusion that life is so very hard. Apart from reinforcing itself in this way, complaining also causes sustained general wear and tear on our physical organism. Freedom occurs when you see through this deepest unconscious pattern to the heart of the energetic. Here's another ouch. It's really interesting what I write in my books. Who's ever going to inherit these books is going to have a good laugh. Because next to this one, I've got ouch. The other common form taken by the 55th shadow is blame. The reactive nature externalizes its complaints by specifically blaming something or someone else. Honestly, almost every person's caught in the blame game. When we blame another, we fire an arrow that removes self-responsibility from our situation. In this sense, we invest aspects of ourselves within other beings, giving away our true power and presence. All blame is an expression of anger projected outwardly. But in this sense, it is not pure. Pure anger is a release of the primal energy of fear that may be triggered by an external source, yet does not target that source. The moment one blames another, one is again the victim of one's own drama. It is impossible to blame another for one's fate and simultaneously realize that one is simply an actor in a play. The very act of seeing through the seriousness of life releases the energy of blame. So that's your shadow side, kid, on there's so much to that 55th key, but that's definitely the shadow side. So
it's bad because the danger is I'm an observer as an artist and a designer,
mm-hmm.
and so then you walk the fine line of, is it complaining, is it naming, is
mm-hmm.
it whatever, but so I really am going to look at that and embrace that, sure.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, it really, there's pages from 426 on, there's the victimization as a shadow. Mm-hmm. And so, what is that? The greatest addiction. Looking for, what is this? Oh, I better read this. Honest to Pete, this is good. The human tendency to look for outer causes for our moods is the greatest addiction on our planet. It is rooted in an essential core belief that we are victims of our material reality. This core belief, and remember now, core belief says this is massive programming and conditioning for thousands of years. Okay? So it's of you, in you. Okay. This core belief actually sets up a low frequency pattern that is then reinforced over and over. Oh, Sydney. Huh.
Yeah.
What traps you is your longing.
I'll hide.
Yeah, I think you're going to be cuddled up tonight with this lovely book.
I have to find mine, and if I can't, because things are in movement here at the house, so I might just have to go purchase another one if Barnes & Noble will oblige.
Okay, so speaking of purchasing, if for those of you who have it and can't find it, but I would suggest, Sydney, do 235365 over your left knee, 235365, 235365 a few times. I taught that in one class, and ask for clarity about where it is. Okay, yeah. That's a possibility. Mm-hmm. But if not, yeah. I do have 3 or 4 copies at my lovely little studio, which you should all come down and participate in. So if any of you do want to order it, send me an email. I want to say it's about $26 if memory serves me. It's something like that. Mm-hmm.
It's a big, hefty book. You can do little bicep curls with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, this is not for the week of spirit. It's got how many? Like 534 pages, and they're not petite pages. This book is like a textbook. It's a Bible. Right. It's a really fantastic Bible.
Right.
So, Sydney, you're looking outside of you for your purpose. Nobody's got it. No one's got it. Yeah. And the part of my gene key that resonates with what you're trying to accomplish says, what purpose? There isn't any. Drop it. Yeah. Yeah. You got to see the cosmic twisted humor of this one. I have taught with great sincerity and seriousness and come on, gang, get with the program. We got to do this. Row together, stroke, pull. Nah. My gene key is take nothing seriously. I'm like, oh, for corn's sake.
Yeah.
Which says it's all an illusion.
Well, that's all fine. But,
Yeah. So living in today, you need to make a living. You need to have some income.
right.
And so today, whatever is shown to you to do, that is your purpose. It's that simple. There isn't tomorrow.
Well, I hear that too. And right now, I can't find. I was composing letters for a company that I want to work for, and I was composing these letters before I went away, and I thought I brought them with me so that I could finish, and I couldn't find them, and now I can't even find them on either one of my computers.
Oh, that's interesting. So a wipeout.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. So that could be phenomenal. The cosmic joke of that's a no. You know, it could be that. It feels more like that's a no than the ickiness of having to start all over again.
Oh, I hear that.
Although, let me say this. When you travel, and I don't care if it's, from New Jersey to Manhattan, it changes your frequency. Travel changes us. But you took an overseas trip. So the gal who left home, a week or so ago, she's not the gal that I'm speaking to.
No, I understand that. And you know what? Two things. I was guided not to bring wheeling luggage.
Mm-hmm.
So I was carrying everything and walking. Therefore, I was truly leaving. I'm not pulling things behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I was stepping new each time.
Okay.
And it's a big deal to carry your luggage, not to wheel it at all.
Yeah.
Huge. But I knew that was part of what was happening, and the need to go to Paris. Because when I was there, it's like, seriously, what? There's no big earth-shattering anything. It didn't appear, although I was in a different place, and so things possibly were happening. So, we got to assume yes because of all the...
Well, there was a molecular change, even if you can't see it. Now,
correct.
Here's another thing that I think is a little helpful for you. I do recall you are a tiger.
Yes.
Okay. Today, we stepped into the second month of summer energetically. Today, we stepped into the month of the horse. Horse is a tremendous, helpful animal to tiger.
Yes.
Also, the flying stars shifted, so in the center box is wood, wood, which is sun, which is you. And that has to do with career. And if you remember, for the year, some of you are like falling asleep, but I have to take her through this, and then I will say goodbye, Sydney. Call me later.
Yes,
okay.
I will.
Okay, but in the center box for the year is water. That's the one star. Well, this month, water feeds wood. So you should feel productive and constructive. This is the month to get to find your perfect job.
Yes, thank God. Yeah.
But then do it. To stop messing around. No, you may not move this month. You may not, you may focus on only one thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to haunt you in the middle of the night.
No, fantastic. Okay, to be continued. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Inspires me.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye. All right, everybody. So that was an interesting little mini course that if you were listening, you could understand. Yeah, it's about Sydney's question for Sydney. But, I'm sharing with you, go to humandesignamerica.com. You will need to know your full birthday, including your time of birth. You put it's a free chart. You poke around until you figure out how to do it, or get your 8-year-old grandchild to do it. They seem to know all this stuff because they are wired for it. But at least you can begin to see you are far greater, and you're boundless. And this is where I want to take you. So how did I get this week into wanting to speak to you about these two things? 2, 3, 4 days ago, my lovely friend Robin in North Carolina called all excited. She had to share, there was some free information coming down the pike about human design, and she had studied the gene keys with me. And she kind of sheepishly said, Elaine, the gene keys, they're just over my head. I can't do it. I can't get it. And she said, but I don't know. Have you ever heard of human design? It's amazing. It's fabulous. So some which way her frequency could align with this discipline. And that's what it's all about. Align with what you are comfortable with. And that tool will help you. You don't need every tool in the toolbox. Some of you may never need to use a wrench. Use a hammer. So use what tool is there for you. But she was so enthused about human design, and she was so amazed that I had indeed studied it, that of course it triggered me again to go, I got to go back into this stuff. This stuff was darn cool. And what does it have for me? And as I look back into my notes, of course, I had to look at every sibling, my son, everybody, because you understand them. And as my friend Robin said, wouldn't it have been fabulous if our parents could have known this and said to us, oh, this is the way your spirit will open up best. This is how you respond in life, instead of the criticism that a lot of us got, or perhaps the diminutive undermining. And I was criticized brutally for being overly sensitive, shy, retiring, to the point that I became just that. And now I understand, my pattern is just watch, just be the watcher. And you got it made in the shade, girl. Everything will come to you that you need. But my mother particularly she was the dominant force. So she was kind of the pusher of, oh no, Elaine, you got to learn to speak up and sing out and put yourself out there. So indeed, at least thank God, it probably helped balance some of the things. My dad, of course, was the exact same pattern that I am. More the retiring one, the watchful one. And how helpful it would have been to hear both sides of that story. Wouldn't it be remarkable for you to give this gift not only to yourself, to your children? I got all jazzed again to give it to my grandchildren. So I kind of always apologize. I want to know. Half the tribe, more than half the tribe, simply doesn't want to know. But information like this is priceless for you. It is priceless. It'll help you stay centered no matter what happens in life. Before early this morning, I got a little information that was a little disturbing to me. It was for me, to me, about me. A little bit disturbing. Again, on the way up, when I wasn't thinking Sydney needs to not be so restless, the other thought that was permeating me was, relax, let it go. The me is false. There's only one truth. There's only one reality. Reality is unchanging. Reality is all-powerful. Reality can change the outer appearance if need be. So all the way up here, I gave myself that loving, constructive, centered inner talk. So Robin in North Carolina was the first that triggered that. And yesterday, again, I minded my own business, which is what a projector does best. And I get a very lovely, loving note from a friend who had studied the gene keys with me in Deerfield Beach a few years ago. So what happened in that mini incarnation, I fast forwarded and probably did not mention much of Human Design America. But if you are listening, Miss Deerfield Beach, you may want to backtrack and print out your human design pattern. That, coupled with the profile that you get for free with Gene Keys, is, again, so helpful. And I'm going to give you the website to go to. Yes, I am, as soon as I find it, for the Gene Keys, because you can go on their website and just print out your profile. And why? It's like having your astrology chart. Why would you not want to have this information? Okay, I believe this is still the way to go. If you have any difficulty with it, email me. So my email, purpleportal777@gmail.com. But try this, Gene Keys Golden Path.com. All right, I'm going to take it slowly. Gene, Gene, Keys, Keys for Sam, so Keys, plural. Golden, Golden, Path, like a pathway, PATH.com. There is a simple way for you. Again, you probably have to poke around and look for profile and print out your profile. It is astounding. So this beautiful gal in Deerfield, she's had some physical challenges that not many people would have agreed to. So right there, that says to me, this is an unusual spirit. And the walk she's walking is more challenging than most of us have to walk. Well, look, I, who thank God, knock wood, have reasonably strong physical health, I wake up some days kind of melancholy, a little bit blue. So when somebody who is given life, to whom life is given many physical challenges, for that soul to wake up and feel either a little bit out of sorts, a little bit low, a little bit blue, holy smokes. Of course, this is, well, in my new study of living reality, here's how I would handle it. It's they simply accept it. They actually don't try to change it at all. Now, the Gene Keys and human design is a softening agent. Intellectually, I like it because, okay, life, you're going to soften it. But my nature sort of is inquisitive and says, how are you going to do this? And how can I help you? What can I do to help you? So she texted me that the 47th Gene Key was like calling to her, and she couldn't find her, couldn't find her book. If you can't find your book, let me know. There'll be about $26 in postage, and they will be out tomorrow. So we got the goods. We got the book. And incidentally, a book like this kind of comes in waves. The Barnes & Nobles don't carry this kind of material. The frequency is too high-pitched for 99.9% of their customers, and they know that. I actually had to go to California, to the finest metaphysical store in Northern California, to align with the energy of the Gene Keys in the first place. So good luck. I mean, sure, you can Amazon it and all that stuff, but they too may or may not have it. But I've got it for you. So the 47th Gene Key for my beautiful friend, the shadow. You see, it talks about the shadow and the way the gift that comes from the shadow, and then like what they call the Siddhi, Siddhi, which the Elaine translation is like the super gift. So my beautiful friend woke up feeling oppressed. And certainly at this point, those of you who are listening, every single one of us have had that sense of sorrowful oppression. It is such a heavy sensation. It lands on you like the heaviest cloud possible. And then what this key counsels is the transmuting of it, and then the complete transfiguration. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this 47th key, because it's no accident that a beautiful soul in Deerfield thought she needed this, but she could just have been the one who's the carrier, because you need it and I need it. So this key, the shadow, provides us with one of the greatest keys to the mystery of suffering. So what this key does is it taps into all of our suffering. Within this key lurks a vast reservoir of darkness in the form of inheritable ancestral anguish. Now I'm going to give you an example of how I have seen this play out on more than one occasion. I have worked with some women on and off throughout the years, on and off throughout my time with the Gene Keys, who have sort of undefined, deep sorrows and things not quite right within their psyche, which cause deep, deep sorrow, I have to say. And on every occasion, in the midst of the consultation, it dawned on me to ask, did you lose someone in the death camps in Europe? And every single time they had. So the dear souls now, who perhaps it was basically a grandparent, it wasn't even a first generation. Ordinarily it was a grandparent or an aunt, but mostly a grandparent. So this key taps you in to that anguish because it's in our genes. Because the 47th shadow is the storehouse of human karma. So what happens generationally is we're trying to release the tragedy that has occurred on this particular playing field of existence. So when someone has this as their gene key, this becomes a life work to keep almost outgassing the suffering and the memory, releasing the memory. And the only way you actually get to release a memory is not by remembering it, it's by staying present. Because only in the present can you be properly oriented to presence. And in presence, the paradox is there's nothing to release. So you see, there's a huge paradox contained in this moment. Many, many people get, going down the pathway of reincarnation and I must have done this or somebody did that. Well, that's all well and good, but the paradox is ultimately the memory must be dropped. Because if not, you're going to carry that suffering. And suffering then, here's the danger, it's passed on genetically through your blood to your children, to your children's children. It goes on 7 generations. So I'm always one who says the buck stops here. That's why this living reality has become my life force. It shows me I've got to stay present. I can't imagine there's anybody in the United States that has not had something in their ancestral background that they just as soon forget. And this key tunes into it. And as my beautiful friend in Deerfield can begin to focus with clarity and certitude This is the only moment. Another friend of mine yesterday was saying she got a good report from the doctor about a cancerous situation, and she began going down the pathway of, and the next time I go to this doctor, and I'm like, whoa, time out. You don't have a next time. Now that sounds brutal, and I needed to get the point across. And after I softened it with, none of us have a next time, stop. You have this presence. And in this presence, there's nothing to fix, change, help, or heal. And you know, by the time we hung up, she got it. And now it's on her. Keep practicing. We've got it. There's nothing else to get. There's zero. You don't have to seek. You just don't have to do that. I still, I'm connected with people that are going to this guru and they're going to go on this thing for 3 months and there's nowhere to go. Why would there be anywhere to go? You're it. You are that. And these keys, you have to work through them because they kind of give you a little slap on the forehead the way I'm just doing. But it's with such discernment, it's with such love to keep you, to break you out of the hypnotic spell of conditioning and programming. It's interesting. This key goes on to say the reason that science cannot decode this particular shadow is because history is not linear but random, and random patterns cannot be solved through logical methods. Random patterns can only be resolved or read by fractal geometry, which reads chaotic patterns by using holistic laws. So the fact is that you carry the entire evolutionary memory of humanity within your body. So perhaps no one that you personally know died in the death camps. Except that, guess what? You carry the memory of everything. And so we have to stay present. Let me see if we've got a minute and a half to go here. I feel like I'm on the countdown today. One of the shadows here is a sense of hopelessness. And I would pretty much understand that my friend was in sort of a kind of mental collapse yesterday. And it's an inner opposition, which the mind is utterly overwhelmed with life. Because the pattern of oppression shows no signs of being broken. But the keys go on to tell you how to break the pattern and the hidden purpose of all of our programming and the true meaning of transfiguration. It goes actually on to say the true meaning of the crucifixion. Well, when you're in such a state, a dreadful state of oppression, you in effect have been crucified. The crucifixion's going on today as clearly as it was a couple of 1,000 years ago. And now it's time we put down the cross and figure out how to stay present where it's all safe and there's divine grace. And this divine grace is here for you. So there's much, you can see, there's so much to learn. I have a feeling next week I'll probably be guided to continue with the gene keys and with human design, because I know my nature. I will be looking more completely and fully into each of them and seeing how I can integrate and weave in my knowingness of, and there's only one. So there's only one, kids. It's you and me, all together. So I think we've hit a stopping point. My love is with you as always, and we are one. Together we are one. Speak to you next week, unless you email me. Loving you. Bye.